I love the way she sings. Good evening, good evening, good evening, and thank you for tuning in to Community Updates and Enlightened Hearts. We are here to share information with you that you might not otherwise know, the things that are happening in the community, whether they be jobs, entertainment, social things, government things, and we're here to help your heart, to help your mind. We want to do better. We want to give to the community what we can give to the community, and that takes all of us to do that. That takes everybody doing their part to enlighten some hearts, to share things with our community. So that's what we're here doing tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all of the over 80,000 people that tune in from around the world every week. We appreciate you. Yes. And you can always catch us right here on Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. And we're going to be on other streaming platforms as we continue to go along. So when we start open up the phone lines, feel free to give us a call at you want to write this down, at 313-355-6018. So when we open the phone lines, please give us a call at 313-355-6018. So this evening we have Minister Cassandra Phipps, who is a social worker, and she has a wonderful organization called Fired Up. I don't know, I feel fired up tonight. And Fired Up is an organization, we're going to talk about it a little further, but it's an organization that helps you empower yourself to know who you are, what your purpose is in life. Many of us are walking around and don't know why we were here. We were all created for a purpose. Yes. And you need to learn how to tap into that. So Cassandra's going to help show us how to tap into that this evening. So just want to tell you a few things, community things, before we get started. One of them is that classes are starting to, registration is taking place now. If you want to go into any college or any vocational school, registration is now for any vocational school, any college, and because college starts in August. And someone came in, I work at a college, and someone came in today and said, is it time yet for registration? We've been registering for 3 weeks. So, but classes are not full. So go and get some classes and sign up for some things. And I can't tell you enough about our water system and how we need to be mindful of what we're putting in our landfills. I was driving around the other day picking up some donations for, we have a upcoming furniture donation and home goods giveaway. We're giving away some things for free on July the 15th. But a person was putting out a very nice looking leather couch on that rainy day. What did it rain, yesterday or the day before? I mean, it looked so nice, and it was going to go right into the landfill, and it was raining. So, it wasn't anything that I could do to try to pick that up because it was getting rained on then. But before, there are many people that I talk to. I'm also a Lions Club member. And there are many people that I speak with that just don't know that there are organizations. We are one of the main ones that will take your slightly used goods. We don't take junk. But we will take your slightly used goods of furniture and home goods, pictures, couches, tables, chairs, lamps, plates. There are people that are walking around that are living in their homes that only have one plate or one cup or cups and plates or sleeping on the floor, no beds. So we'll come pick it up, or if you can drop it off, we're going to be at 16111 Woodward in Highland Park on July 14th and 15th. Now the 14th, we'll be out sorting things, and we have many things to sort. So go get your high school students, your grade school students, your college students, or yourself. We will give you community service letters for the donating hours. And I don't know if you know this, but when you donate and do community service hours, that looks good and helps you to get grants and scholarships. They look for what are you doing in the community. I also interview students at Wayne State's medical school to help them to get into med school. And my area is, what community service are they doing? They said, Miss White, we don't just want doctors that are smart. We want to know what they're doing to help others in the community, because that tells you what type of heart they have. So you might be the genius and have a horrible heart.
Oh, that's true.
And they're looking at that. So bring your students out, bring yourself out, come and volunteer. We'll be at the Maiden House Ministries July the 14th from 12 to 7 p.m. Again, that address is 16111 Woodward Avenue, right at the corner of Puritan in Highland Park. And then on the 15th of July, we're going to be giving away. Can we all say free?
Free.
We are giving away free furniture, couches, beds, dressers, TVs, you name it, we've got it. And we'll be doing that from 10 to 4 on July the 15th at 16111 Woodward in Highland Park, right at the corner of Puritan, Maiden House Ministries. Bring your truck. Bring your truck, bring your car, because what you can fill it up with, you can take home all for free. Now, if you have some donations that you're able to give financially, we'll accept your monetary donation as well. Or if there are any organizations that are listening now, businesses that want to donate towards this effort, it helps. It helps to pay for the trucks, the stipend for the men, the gas, because these things do cost. But we're a community service, and so we want to help our communities, but it doesn't happen for free. So your donations help, your time helps. We all can give, but what can you give? Maybe you don't have the time, you can give a donation.
That's
Maybe
right.
you can't give a donation, but you can give the time. But what can we do to give to help our fellow man? So again, that's all the community updates I'm going to share for this evening. Whoa. Normally I got too many. I mean, not too many, because many things that are still happening. There's some job workshops and things. This on my Facebook page at Michelle Turner White on Facebook, and I post those things. Feel free to peruse it and look and see what's there. I share all types of information just about every day. So, Dr. Regina, do you have any community update information that you would like to share this evening?
I do.
And what month is this? Or we're still in?
We're still in June. And so I do want to share that I was able to do the 60 Dr. King
Freedom Walk.
Yes, this past Saturday. And it was just awesome. It had young people, babies, older people. It was every age range was out there walking and just professing freedom. And it was so exciting. And I just want the callers, even if you want to call in, to tell me, were you able to see it on television? Were you able to...
Were you out there?
Yeah, were you out there? And what was that experience for you? I know some people, they just felt so honored to be there on his 60th and know that Martin Luther King had done that many, many years ago. And unfortunately, we are kind of in that same place once again.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. And so, we
fighting
might
for our freedom.
Fighting
after all these years.
All these years.
Are we free in some areas? Yes. But there are other areas that we got to pay attention.
Yes.
That we need to still work on. Pay attention. What they say, you've got to be woke.
That's it. You got to be woke. And I want to know what you think about the woke culture.
Yes.
That is really thrown around. And I'm going to get some history about that. During slavery, they used to use that stay woke. And the purpose of it was to make sure that they were alert of their surrounding, particularly when the owners, not going to call them masters, were around. And so now we're using this word woke culture. So call in to 313-355-6018 and tell us what you think about the woke culture. And also call in to speak to our guest, Cassandra Phipps. And so we would just love to hear from you.
Yes, we would.
Yes.
So I'm going to let you introduce Minister Phipps.
Yeah, so Minister Phipps, I'm going to read your bio. And thank you. You are the one that have given me a short bio. I appreciate it. It's Cassandra's passion is to help others gain clarity in pursuing one's life purpose through spiritual and clinical practices. Cassandra Phipps has provided counseling services since 2008 that includes substance use, therapy, intensive home-based therapy, family therapy, individual therapy, and trauma therapy, teenagers and adults. Wow, you covered it all. Clinical supervision, assessment, and management. Currently, Cassandra is the director of Children's Initiative at Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network, a licensed minister serving at Zion Hope Missionary Baptist Church under Pastor Curtis R. Grant in Detroit, Michigan, and the CEO and founder of Fired Up Ministries and Clarity Counseling and Consulting, PLLC. Lastly, Cassandra has a wonderful, energetic son, Charles Phillips Jr., CJ, who is 8 years old and a little ninja. Oh, he's a ninja. All right, now I was a ninja when I was young. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, karate. I was a ninja.
Oh, were you?
And I did it under Fareed Zarif, who was the bodyguard at one point for Stevie Wonder.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
Now, what was the highest belt level you
Well,
went
I didn't
to?
stay long enough, so I think I got to a yellow.
Okay,
That's
his
good.
next test will be for a yellow belt.
Okay.
Hopefully he'll be ready in August.
I think, don't start me to laugh. It's been a very long time. And we used to take at the Franklin Wright Center.
Okay.
And he would teach the courses there.
Okay, awesome.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah.
he's been doing it a few years now. He has a white and black belt. And so he will be testing for yellow, hopefully, in a couple of months.
Yeah,
Good
I
ninja.
absolutely, yes, silent attackers. Don't know when we hit. So tell us a little bit about Fired Up Ministry and your consulting and counseling firm.
Awesome. Yes, I would love to. So, Fired Up Ministries is a ministry that I started actually launched a year ago. And during the pandemic, and it's helping people to embrace their purpose through the guidance of the Holy Spirit. And the Lord actually, gave this vision to me actually when my son was born.
Okay.
So back in 2014. So July 3rd. 2014, I ended up having an emergency C-section for him. I was only 29 weeks along and ended up having seizures at work. I had to get rushed to the emergency and had some more seizures when I got to the hospital. And the doctor said I had preeclampsia, and they had to do an emergency C-section. And so I had no idea what a preeclampsia was. I've never heard of it before. I never had high blood pressure. And so after I had the emergency C-section, when I came to, I was really just laying in the bed asking like, well, why did you allow me to live and my son? Because, the doctor said we could have not made it because of a brain aneurysm or because of a stroke. Whoa. And so, God let me know that it's because you have fire in you. And I want you to let everybody else know that they can have that same fire too. So that's how we have Fired Up Ministries. But, even though it was so many years ago, I, just trying to plan. And of course, I had some other, personal challenges. But last year, it was really put on my heart. We were in a pandemic. And it's always been my passion to combine the spiritual needs and the clinical needs together. Yeah. And so important. Yes. And so a lot of times we would have our faith, but we wouldn't have the clinical skills or the coping skills or the knowledge about what we're dealing with. With our emotions and with some of the challenges we go through in life, and vice versa. Some of us might have the clinical skills, but we don't have the faith practices or the spiritual formation understanding. And so I've always been passionate about being able to combine the two together. And so last year I started off doing a prayer call during Suicide Awareness Month during September. Okay. And a prayer conference call, just educating about suicide, but then also incorporating the prayer. Also did a series of grief and loss workshops as well.
Yeah, I see you just recently had one.
So this year, the theme or what the Lord, placed on my heart, a direction was to do trauma, to address trauma. And so I did a trauma healing workshop in April. Yeah. And I just did a part 2, June 20th. But really, really explaining about what trauma is, what it looks like, but then also including scriptures, also in providing that spiritual piece too. And and
awesome.
so that we can have that full understanding. The one that I just did on the 20th, we actually went deeper into like actually learning about how to, we called it the thinking triangle, how to like if you're getting triggered, how to address when you're triggered, from a traumatic experience, and if you're still struggling with triggers. And so really like training on those hands-on components of what to do in the moment.
Okay.
And so that's just something that I've been passionate about, and I'm glad that it's been able to come to fruition.
I know that.
And that's also available on my page and on the Fired Up Ministries page. I was able to air it on Facebook. Some components of the workshop from the week or so ago. So yeah,
that is awesome.
It
and
is.
so needed.
Yeah.
Because there are so many people that are struggling with trauma.
Yes.
Whether it be adverse childhood experiences or current traumas.
Mm-hmm.
And I had someone ask me the other day, and I want to address this with both of you.
Mm-hmm.
They said, "How do I know if I'm bipolar?"
Mm-hmm.
How do you know if you're bipolar? How can you tell? How can one tell? I'm asking if they're bipolar or not, or if they're some of the traumas that they
what
might
I can
have.
tell you is that that's not a diagnosis that they're going to get right off of the bat. Okay, that diagnosis take a minute to diagnose. At least it normally does. And so before we would get to them being bipolar, we would first deal with the depression.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what do they need to do?
There's actually mental health screening tools,
Yes.
and actually on you can Google it, or even on our I also work at Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network, and if you go to our website, you can take a mental health screening, and that's
I was hoping you were gonna bring that up.
Yes, it gives you kind of an indication of what direction to kind of look into, or how to seek help, or sometimes you might experience some symptoms. I'm like, I wonder what that is, and you start Googling some things, but there's actually a screening tool that you can take on your own. Yeah.
And one of the things that I would say, just in conjunction to what Cassandra is saying, I just truly believe that we have a tendency to label. So I'm very careful with giving diagnosis. Yeah, because people would say off the bat, don't even no counseling experiences whatsoever. Girl, you bipolar. Right, because bipolar is that manic state to elated state, and so
and switch
exactly
from one thing to another.
Exactly, but you don't have to be bipolar.
And we have to be careful of labeling. Start calling yourself who God says you are.
Yes,
that you are healed, that you are strong.
Exactly.
And I mean, those things, when we speak them out and start to mentally accept that in our mind of who God says we are, then that is a strengthening tool that can change the whole course of what it seems to be going in. Yes, but there are medical diagnoses and different, sometimes people do need to take medication.
Right.
Yeah. And I think it's also about someone trying to get a better understanding about themselves or what they're experiencing.
Correct.
And because sometimes we're very used to kind of ignoring some of the things that we're experiencing, or making it seem like it's not that big of a deal, or so it's really about understanding having our own self-awareness. And if you are having some experiences or symptoms, really understanding patterns, trying to, and that's what we encourage too, is try to figure out, well, what is the pattern, or what happened when you started experiencing this particular symptom or occurrence, and really trying to get a better understanding of patterns and behaviors, and that can help being able to have a better understanding.
Yeah.
Does this happen around a certain time? Sometimes, anniversaries, or certain events can be triggers, and so it's real, death. So it's trying to get a better sense of awareness.
So can we give the Detroit
DWIN,
but let's give the whole name. What is it?
It stands for Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network,
and they have a screening page where you can see tools that you can use to see what might be some of your challenges.
Yes, on the homepage.
Website is it's on your homepage, and that website is www.dwihn.org. I'm going to repeat that. It's www.dwihn.org. ihn.org.
Yes.
And you can, but I want to hear more about your Fired Up program too, and some of the tools and things that you do with people to encourage them to come out of, because sometimes we can talk, like you said, people can label you, and then you start to believe what someone says you are, or you think negative things in your head on a constant basis instead of uplifting yourself. That's what the Bible talks about when it says bringing down those vain imaginations.
Yes. And strongholds.
And strongholds. You gotta start speaking and lift up in your mind and with your mouth who you are. You know, who you really are.
Yes. And so that's why, and I can just give you an example, like last week when I did the part 2, one of the devotional messages that I focused on was the scripture in Psalms where David talked about being in a horrible pit. You know, and you know, and how the Lord inclined his ear unto us. And so God still hears us. So even though we might feel like we're in a low place in our lives, that or whatever that pit situation might be for who we are, that God still is there and he still hears. And you know, he said he will come up and out of the horrible pit. And what's really stood out to me is I remember my son was playing a game. He loves the little Ninjago Lego characters. I don't know if you're familiar, but there's this little Lego characters in the game where you know, he was having a hard time getting up. He was in a pit. The little character was in a pit, and he was jumping on like a little trampoline, and he was asking me to help him. I'm like, I don't know how to play this game. but what showed to me is that with the character, he had to jump up and get out. And a lot of times, you know, if you just jump up and keep falling in the same place, you're still not out. And so that's where, you know, God is letting us know is that when I bring you out, I want to bring you up and out. So that you don't keep landing in the same place. You don't keep landing in the same dirt like where you're stuck. And that's where I'm really passionate about is how do we get unstuck? You know, a lot of times we lose our way, we get off track, we don't know where we're going because we're stuck in our situation. And, you know, God really wants to bring us up and out of the situation. So that when we come out, you know, also the scripture talked about, you know, being, you know, placed on and being stabilized. And so when he brings us out, he wants us to be stable. And where our steps are ordered, and he gives us direction. But a lot of times we're stuck where we're at and we don't know how to get out of it. That's where the education comes in. Learning about what trauma is, learning about what some of the things that we're dealing with, because we're so used to brushing it under the rug or ignoring it or acting like it didn't happen or it doesn't exist. But if we don't deal with what's underneath the surface, you know, it's like that iceberg model. We're just focusing on what's on top of the surface. If we don't deal with the root cause, if we don't deal with what's under the surface, then we stay stuck. You know, it takes work. It does take work.
We've got some people that are listening right now that are feeling stuck.
All right now.
And wondering, how do I get out of that? So you've got Minister Phipps that's right here who can help and share some things with you. And you've got Dr. Hall here. And feel free to call and share what are some of the challenges I like Dr. Regina said, how do you feel about the woke culture? How do you, I know 2 people I know this week have called and said, my child has died and I'm feeling depressed. And I shared a counselor with them, but I asked them to tune in this evening because people are going through different things. Again, someone said, how do I know? I feel like I'm bipolar. How do I know that? So what are some of the tools that Fired Up Ministry shares to help people elevate in their mind?
So in addition to Fired Up, I also have like the clarity counseling and consulting. That's where I kind of also bring in the counseling piece and understanding of, you know, just educating about resources. And one of the things I try to help do is connect people. And so, you know, connect people that specialize in certain areas. And so, you know, I have a lot of friends, colleagues that specialize in trauma, and then, or grief and loss and things like that. Also, if needed, you know, also Detroit Wayne integrated health network as well as a resource to get connected. But one of the things I really try to help do is really hear what the need is and help direct you to where you can go. Because sometimes there's bureaucracy, like there's red tape, or there's there's a lot of processes, and so my job is also to try to help here so I can help direct you and whether depending on the insurance you have or what county you live in, all of that makes a difference.
Insurance,
yeah,
but I need help.
Yeah.
So in Wayne County, and not just Wayne County, but the other counties, they have what they call CCBHCs, which is Certified Behavioral Health
So that would
clinics.
be pretty much in every state, because I'm sure that's a state funded.
It could be, but specifically in Michigan, the state has really advanced CCBHCs to where it doesn't matter what your insurance is, whether you have insurance or not. There are certain agencies that can still provide. You can receive counseling services.
Because mental health challenges are all around the world.
Yeah, but every state is not necessary. Yeah, really. One of the things that I learned, just even thinking about Texas, Michigan does a fairly good job of helping with Medicaid. They don't use their monies for that. It's a lot of poor on the street.
Texas
does not. You literally
what about California? I hear that people are in droves that are outside.
And so, from what I understand, that they're a tribe, but I'm more familiar with our laws, because every state is different. It really is, and how they help their poor and how they help their mentally ill. And I'll just even say, when you think about Republican and when you think about Democratic states, unfortunately, they are totally different. The governor is Republican in Texas.
Right.
Not so much so for the poor and stuff like that. That's just it.
It's like, go help yourself.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, why I take all your money. That's a whole nother story.
And I have unfortunately heard people that feel that way. Why should I help the poor? They need to help themselves, figure it out, And the Bible tells us that there's always going to be the poor among us. So yes, everyone doesn't even want help. Some people are happy with being depressed, happy, they want attention or whatever they choose to stay in that.
Well, I'll let Cassandra speak more to this, but what I can say, and we both know this, everybody out there in the street, first of all, let me just share with you, they're not looking for your money. They're not, because guess what? They have checked out. Yes. There's lawyers and doctors that are out there in the street. Yeah, you don't think about it. They have checked out. That's true. Okay. Yeah. And so they're content staying right there where they are. They have decided, unfortunately, from some mental anguish or whatever has happened, they are checked out, and that's the way they are living. Okay. Secondly, I think that what happens in our society, that we say, and particularly when it comes to black folks, the way we are looked at and poor, we need to pick ourselves up. Well, we have picked ourselves up many, 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 many times, and it's easy to get knocked down just by the bureaucracy that's out there. But I'm going to let Cassandra take that part over.
And you bring up a good point, because that is one of the things that I address with the workshop is those stigmas. And the reason why we don't address the challenges that a lot of us are just suffering in silence. We're suffering in silence because we have the mentality of, well, let's just pick ourselves up by the bootstraps and go, I got through it, so you need to get through it too. Yeah, and we just have this thing that, well, just deal with it. And my experience is really working with children and families, and a lot of the work that I did do was really trying to help families understand, well, how does a 5-year-old just deal with it? How does an 8-year-old just deal with it? What does that look like?
What does that look like?
And a parent could have went through an experience and they just dealt with it, but we're in a different generation now. And our youth are really speaking out of, whether they not say it verbally, but they're saying it with their emotional expression. They're saying it with their behavior that they need help and they don't know how. And it's really unfair for us to just assume that, certain people have the skills to be able to deal with certain things, and because they don't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we all need to come together to really help support. And that's the benefit of being able to work with someone, whether it's a counselor, third party, someone that's non-judgmental, that's really able to help and to give those skills, because a lot of times we just go through a lot of hard things and we don't know how to deal with it. But we're so used to just sweeping things under the rug or acting like things didn't happen,
not even having the time, Cassandra, to deal with it because of lack of money. You know, lack of education. Yeah. You know, job not paying enough. Mm-hmm. They don't have enough time to be sick.
Because it takes commitment. It does take commitment.
It does take commitment.
It takes commitment
to get well.
So, what do you all suggest that people should do? If that's their challenge, how do I get myself to a place where I seek the help that I need?
Well, I will first start off by saying that prevention is key. Yeah. We don't want to wait till things get severe. And I've seen severe, because that's the work that I've done. I've been a home-based therapist, the majority of the work that I've done. And so severe is when they're needing a crisis screening for hospitalization, and if you're starting to see warning signs, and it's okay. We don't have to wait till it's severe. I can even give my own personal. It's up to where I was severe, to where even I started seeing someone for myself. Yeah. And there was, and I'm in the field. I'm a counselor myself, and so now I see what this looks like. Wow, if I would have only, really paid attention to some of my own warning signs.
Yeah. What are some of the warning signs? I'm trying to. I want to give people some practical things that they might be feeling but haven't identified.
So some of the warning signs are isolation, when you start isolating yourself, right? Mm-hmm. When you are withdrawing from the community as well as your family and friends. Mm-hmm. Some of the warning signs are maybe you may start worrying about things that you normally didn't worry about. You're afraid to go out of the home. You're living in the what if this happened and what if that happened. So I just want to say anxiety is really about the what if. Mm-hmm. So, and the depression is really about what happened to me in the past. Mm-hmm. So if you are belaboring the past all the time, if you find yourself becoming resentful, if you're having thoughts of suicide and homicide, if you're having psychosis, if you find yourself, a lot of times clients are dealing with health issues that are really mental issues that they're dealing with, particularly when it comes to anxiety. Mm-hmm. If they're feeling shaky, if they're having hot sweats, if they find themselves like they're panicking all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. And so those are signs, and I'll let Cassandra say some of them, but those are some of them.
It's stress.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Paying attention to stress. We're so used to operating in like go mode, or especially as women like supermom modes, we do it all. Yes. And paying attention to are we gaining weight or losing weight? Are we overeating or undereating? Yes. Our sleep patterns, all of that.
And some people are cutting themselves.
Yes,
more of the severe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes.
Reaching out that they need.
Well, they're cutting themselves because they're trying to make the pain go away. So that's the way they're dealing with it. So they're cut themselves to relieve themselves. And that is severe, but it's a form of relief, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times you find that teenagers are doing that, particularly girls. When you say, Cassandra?
Yes, and in addition to that, also using substances.
Yeah.
Using substances, or if you currently were using it more frequently, or so those are just some examples. Yeah. It's about, I just keep going to the self-awareness piece, because for me, I know when I'm out of balance. Yeah. And I have to make some readjustments, but I had to learn that about myself. Exactly. I had to learn the same coping skills that I use with those that I work with. I'm like, okay, now I have to sit down and do my own journal writing. That's right. I have to sit down and now do my own thinking triangle.
And balance is so important.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I would say that you just asked, and we talked about not being able to slow down. You really can't afford not to slow down. You really do need to invest in yourself to help yourself heal. And it is going to take, and I tell my clients all the time, talk therapy is good because there are a lot of talk therapists that are out there that they can, even, which is dangerous, give you advice and tell you what they think you can do to get out of it. You really need action. When I went through my healing, and the Lord helped me, and I had a counselor, I was healed from sexual abuse. I had to get involved in my therapy.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Yeah.
You have to do that period with our medical treatment, everything. You have to get involved yourself.
You have to get involved. So there is no shortcuts to healing.
Right.
But there is healing on the other side and joy if you're willing to do it.
That's right.
Yes.
That's it, but
If
you got to be
you're
willing to do it.
Yes.
That's right. What's the word say? If you're willing and obedient, then you can eat the good of the good of the land.
That's it.
I thank you all for tuning in. We're here on Wjzz Cool TV.
Yes.
And you're listening to us. This is Community Updates and Enlightened Hearts. Again, we are on all streaming platforms: Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. And our number here, if you call us while the show is on, we're at 313-355-6018. And feel free, share what you might be going through. Tell us what you think about the woke culture. Let us know some topics that you would like to hear or want us to talk about, or maybe even some guests that you would like us to invite. We've got some great guests coming up for you. Don't we have Hill Harper coming up? Just want to mention it now. He's going to be talking with us very soon, and some other people as well. But you can call us at 313-355-6018 right here on Community Updates and Enlightened Hearts on Wjzz Cool TV. I always have to do station identifications every few minutes. So we thank you again for tuning in and listening. And when you're watching, please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share. When you subscribe, it just pings you and lets you know when the show is coming on, so you won't miss it. And you can always go back and watch our replays on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, and you can watch them as well. So, Ms. Phipps, explain the Clarity Counseling and Consulting, in which we've kind of been talking about, but you have the two ministries. You have Fired Up, which helps empower you, and then you have Clarity Counseling, where you can get some of the sit down and be counseled with some of the mental or challenges. I don't want to say we don't want to say mental challenge, but they are mental challenges.
Well, they are. I would say mental challenges.
Yes. So Fired Up Ministries is a nonprofit, and the Clarity Counseling is more of a PLC, so it's more of a business. And so I do more of consulting. I do more like workshops and offering consultation. And I do a lot of partnering. So, that's where I'm adding in that clinical piece when I do the workshops. But then I also help partner with other organizations in the community as well. For example, Imagine Mentoring is one that I partner with, and I Am a Priority. And they've done like some mental health summits, and where I will, be a speaker to talk about trauma. We actually have one coming up in August. I'm really excited to share, and it's going to be about financial literacy.
Oh, wonderful!
And so I will be speaking on how trauma impacts your finances.
Yes.
As will be the segment that I'll be doing.
That'll be in August.
That will be in August, and I can pull up the flyer that I have here, and we're really excited with the partnership. Is also with Comerica Bank as well.
And send it over to us on Facebook so that we can post it.
Yeah, so it's called Master Your Money, and it's going to be a financial empowerment summit.
Okay.
Saturday, August 26th at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's going to be at Wayne County Community College, the Eastern District, on Cornerstone. Connor in Detroit. Yes.
Okay.
And so, Imagine Mentoring Comerica, Wayne County Community, I Am a Priority, Clarity, and can't read this one. Good Vision Media. So we're all coming together to do this. And, we just really feel like it's really time to help empower people to be more aware about their finances, how to budget, how to, be responsible to, about credit, things like that. And I thought it was really be beneficial to talk about how trauma impacts your finances, because we're not
impacts it, doesn't it?
Yes, we're
just
not aware.
Out.
Yeah, we're not aware about patterns of behavior, and so whether we pay bills on time or not aware what bills we have to pay at all, or how we spend our money. We're overspending, impulsivity,
You're right. And when you really even think about trauma, and it's something that is not talked about enough, and you hear things about, government, everybody depending on government. It really behooves government to get involved, because you can spend, just dealing with sexual abuse, $54 billion a year is spent on counseling, dealing with substance abuse, dealing with the trauma. It's spent.
$54
billion have been spent, and that's an old number that I'm giving right now. I don't even know what the numbers are, because after the pandemic, many things have increased.
Okay.
And so when you think about monies being spent and people dealing with trauma, the government automatically is involved, because of the simple fact either we're jailing people wrongfully, okay, either they on substances, and the opioids have increased. There's more now Narcan,
Yes.
that they're training on now than ever before. And so it behooves us to get involved and provide healing, where people can live a balanced life and can know how to deal with their triggers. And so when we criticize that, it is hurting the community. So it behooves us to get involved.
Yes. And also with clarity, I make candles, homemade candles.
I see.
Yes. So
Candles are soothing.
Yes.
Scents.
Yes.
Can I smell one?
Yes, so that's the lavender.
Oh, I love lavender.
Yes, that's the lavender. So it's just
Lavender's
something.
my favorite.
Okay, awesome. And each of you will have. You can pick a candle. I brought them as gifts for you.
Oh, thank
you. The less scent works for me because I have allergies.
Oh, okay.
Is
Yes.
this your gentle scent?
That's more of like the earthy one.
Oh, okay,
yes,
yeah,
the earthy
that's
one.
best. Yes.
Can't really smell them. Okay. Oh, these smell
Oh yeah,
delicious.
this is good
Yes,
too.
the eucalyptus. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. That's great.
So you give the total atmosphere when people can come in and get some counseling, have some good scents going on, and aromatherapy as a part of aromatherapy with the candles.
Yes.
Get the counseling, lay back, and just relax and tell me what's going on.
No, that's old school. We do not that.
You don't lay back
Listen,
and
that's
say
not-
what's going on.
Listen, that's not reality anymore.
Yeah, that is not.
I can't get chills.
No, but that is. But I'm glad you brought that up, because that is what people think that they're going to come in and do.
And just lay on the couch.
And just lay on the couch and
yeah.
talk, because it has been promoted that way on television.
Okay.
And we do laugh about that, because that is not the way counseling is handled.
Give me the picture of how it is now.
Well,
I've been to
it
counselors
just
in the
really
past.
depends on the treatment modality. So
Okay.
I'll let Cassandra
Well,
speak from her treatment modalities.
I've done community mental health, and so that looks completely different than private practice.
Yes.
But community
done
mental
it,
health is very person centered.
Yes.
And so it means that the family, the member that's actually getting services, that they're steering the ship here. And so we will do an assessment, help identify what the needs are. And then also develop a treatment plan, get the family's input.
So with the community modality, you are doing the total. You've got the resources there to connect them with other agencies, other resources that they may need.
Yeah, very emphasizes coordination of care, also addressing trauma, addressing the co-occurring needs. It's a very multifaceted model. And then also, like I said, I've done home-based. So for those that do home-based, you're actually going into the home. And so that's not the office.
On your couch.
That's where the therapist is going to the home, and sometimes you never know sometimes what that
I think
what
some
that could
don't
be.
still do it that way, don't they? Because I know when I was going to counseling,
I've never
I got
done
to
it
lay
that way.
back in the chair and just talk.
See, and that's that talk
But that
there
was
we talk
years
about.
ago.
So the treatment modality that I do would be team CBT. It's more structured than that. It's cognitive behavioral therapy. We really diving into the way you think, and we're dealing with your distortions. So you're going to do some work. You're going to do some reading. You're going to do some testing with me. So it's a different treatment modality. So it just depends on the counselor, what type of therapy that they're offering to their clients. But I can tell you that it would be kind of difficult for you to lay on my sofa. I just have to say.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So what is your motivation that keeps you going with doing what you're doing?
Oh, that is a very good question.
Yes.
That is a very good question.
Yes.
You know, I'm very passionate. And how I even ended up in this field is still beyond me. I feel like God chose this for me, because it wasn't really on my radar. When I first started off going to school, I wanted to be a music teacher. I played the violin. I wanted to be a music education teacher.
That is wonderful.
Yeah, and so midway in my undergrad at Eastern, I had an injury and I couldn't play anymore. And God called me into ministry, and like, well, if I can't teach, what else can I do? And so I was like, I'll do counseling. And so I'm generally a very passionate person, and I feel like my role is to help people understand who they are.
Yes.
And and I understand that, I don't just look at the behavior, I look at what's underneath the surface. And I know that that's being motivated by hurt and by pain.
Yes, by hurt and pain.
And so that's my passion.
And so tell us again how people get in touch with you.
Yes.
And we're going to let them know how they can get in touch with DWIN.
Yes.
How do they get in touch with you?
So for me, I do have a Facebook page, Clarity Counseling and Consulting. I also have a Facebook page, Fired Up Ministries. And so the information will be there on Facebook on those pages. Also for Detroit Wayne, you mentioned the website.
Yes.
There's also an access number if someone wants to call and have a screening done. If they want to, see if they want services. Yeah.
800-241
4949. Yes. And we also have some great events coming up. Youth United, we have a scholarship. The deadline is June 30th, and it's for high school students that live in Wayne County and go to a Wayne County high school.
Wonderful.
For juniors.
So they can go to the website at dwihn.org.
Yes.
And check out the things coming up, the upcoming events.
Yes.
They can even find you at one of the DWIN buildings.
Yeah, well, we're virtual right now. We're undergoing construction right now. And we have a mobile app. Detroit Wayne has a mobile app as well. So if you ever want to know about what's happening in the community of some of the things that we're doing, you can download the mobile app.
And you have a 24-hour helpline.
Yes.
So I want to give that helpline. Maybe you need 24-hour help. And sometimes, as a minister myself, I let people know you can call me at 3 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't matter. No.
Well, the number that they give now is the
211.
No.
Oh, the
988. 988. Yes.
988.
Yes.
But then DWIN has a 24-hour. So 988 is a helpline you can call.
Yeah.
Also, DWIN has a 24-hour helpline at 313-833-2500. Again, that's 313-833-2500. So
I did want to ask, because we're running out of time, but is there any last minute words you'd like to leave with us?
Yes. The last thing I want to share is that we have a faith-based initiative at Detroit Wayne as well. And we have a conference that is coming up in August. 8 Dimensions of Wellness.
Wonderful.
Oh, awesome.
8 Dimensions.
Yes.
Are you speaking at that?
Yes, I'm
Yes.
Okay.
So that's August 17th. And you can register at the Detroit Wayne Connect website, which you can access through our dwin.org website as well. But that's where
it's open.
Weekday? It's a weekday. It's 2 days, actually. It's the 17th and the 18th. It will be in Dearborn at the Pellister Park. And we're excited because we're doing it in person this year.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So we want you to come out to the events. Come out to these things on August the 17th. It's a 2-day event, the 17th and the 18th.
Yes.
Right.
At the Pallister Park in Dearborn. And how do they get connected? What
They do have to register. Detroit Wayne Connect.
Okay.
It's the website
Connect.
to register for our events and some of our trainings that we do.
And again, if you want to reach Ms. Phipps about Clarity Counseling, they can call you at
313-282-6504.
313-282-6504. So give her a call today. And again, we thank you for tuning in to Community Updates and Enlightened Hearts. And be sure and watch us again next week, every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on Wjzz Cool TV. You can catch us on all streaming platforms, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook.
Yes.
We thank you for tuning in, and you have a wonderful, wonderful week.
Yes,
Anything
and be
else you want
safe.
to share?
Yeah, be safe.
Be safe.
On July 4th.